Obviously, you can look around the room and see we're incredibly proud of the work that our Narcotics Task Force has done here in St. Tammany Parish. Since making these drugs illegal, you can see that, unfortunately, that has not made them vanish from the parish. And our guys have done an incredible job to hold those responsible for who were still peddling this on the streets of St. Tammany. Quite a number of people have been involved. The Sheriff's Office, City Slidell, and City of Mandeville Task Force has worked tirelessly to make sure that we identified as many as we could through undercover operations, going to stores, and those who were guilty of peddling this drug back on the streets of St. Tammany. In the investigation, we have seized roughly $351,000 worth of merchandise in this operation. Pretty impressive when you look at a retail market. $130,000 in cash was seized that we believe is linked directly to the trade of this drug. 8 vehicles and 6 weapons were seized in the operation. We're confident that we have shut down the operation as it was functioning in St. Tammany Parish, but that doesn't stop the fact that we'll continue to work to make sure that we identify any additional or new traffic that is trying to arise in St. Tammany. So with that, I know there are going to be a lot of questions. These guys have some comments as well, too. Again, my hat's off to the Narcotics Task Force. These guys have done an incredible job working around the clock to make sure that they got as much of this stuff off the street as they possibly could. With that, I'm going to ask the district attorney to make a few comments, and then the chiefs of police, and then we'll take your questions. Walter?
Thank you very much. It's my congratulations to the task force, to the sheriff, to the chiefs of police for their continuing efforts. Fellas, this is a big problem in St. Tammany Parish. So many of our children are involved in this stuff, and it is really wreaking havoc on our community. The offenses that are going to be filed are against the owners. There were very few store clerks that were arrested. Most of the arrested subjects are owners. And we want a real crystal clear message to those people who own convenience stores that you are going to jail for between 5 and 30 years. That's what this crime is punishable for. There will be no plea bargaining. Each person charged, we're going to make very special efforts in this area. Each person charged will be tried and will be convicted. And each one of these store owners will be looking at between 5 and 30 years. Clear message, store owners. If you're selling this stuff and you didn't get caught this time, you're lucky because we're coming back at you. Any questions?
That'll warm up in just a second. Chief?
First off, I want to thank all the agents involved in this 3-month-long investigation. Thank the sheriff and the other chiefs that are part of the task force, which Slidell Police is now a member of. And this is the results from working together in a collective manner. We started our investigation in the city limits of Slidell, like I said, over 3 months ago. We made 6 arrests. We concentrated on 6 stores in our community that continued to sell this product. Once we seized it, we had it tested. Once we got the results back, the molecules contained in the products that you see here today are illegal and listed as law effective July 15, 2010. We seized roughly, we had 8,879 packets that we seized in our area. And street value, the value of this product that we seized and obtained 1 search warrant on a lab that was producing this product was in the amount of just under $300,000. So we're very proud, and we want to thank the DA and his staff for working with us, and they're continuing to support us in our efforts and to continue that tough prosecution and high conviction rate. So, if y'all have any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Thank y'all.
Chief Richard?
I just want to say a few things to echo most of the comments that have been made already. Three of these locations that you'll see in the press release that was handed out are within the city limits of Mandeville. City of Mandeville doesn't have, the police department doesn't have the resources to deal with something of this magnitude. Consequently, when I became chief, we joined the St. Tammany Narcotics Task Force, and this is a result of it. Point is, this task force is a force multiplier for all of us. It enhances our abilities to do things like this. And between the Mandeville Police Department, Slidell Police Department, and certainly the Sheriff's Department, this is a result of what you see of true team policing. And quite frankly, St. Tammany Parish, I just feel we have a real special place in our law enforcement community, and this is what we do.
None of them have made bond at this point. The commissioner will set a bond for those individuals. If there's not a preset bond, then that will get all of the paperwork. Obviously, all of this has to be composed, brought together, and then taken to the district attorney, and then they'll begin their court proceedings.
How massive of a manufacturing operation, if you just had to describe it to us, would you say this is?
Well, you know, that's very difficult to quantify the size. I think the demonstration before you pretty much is better than me trying to put it into words. The fact of the matter is that when you look at the manner in which these individuals tried to peddle the drug, this wasn't open out on the shelf. This is the same, coincidentally, for those of you who are not aware, it's the same drug that has affected our LSU team here of late. So it is serious. It is something that those owners knew what they were doing. If they if they try to say they don't, then they'll have to face our prosecutors in court on that. And I think that'd be more of a challenge for them. But the fact is, the production of it, it was pretty high, beginning from narcotics tracking a shipment in from China, all the way to the development of intelligence of a lab here in St. Tammany in Tallahassee, coincidentally, that was producing this, packaging it for resale. So it was organized, I'll tell you that. Probably better than trying to quantify the size. The organization was impressive. And I think to a person, all of our agents will tell you that. In the press release, our narcotics agents demonstrated that in some points they had to go in and use code words. That, that the businesses that were selling this, guys, make no mistake, knew exactly what they were doing. You couldn't go in and say, I want to buy Mojo. You had to ask specifically for the China product or something that would indicate that you knew what you were asking for, and then they would sell you the product. Many times hidden behind secret compartments under the counter, things of that nature. So make no mistake, this was in no way an innocent business who got into something that they had no clue was wrong. When you look at, I think in Slidell's situation, the media even went around with the chief to the individual stores to make sure that they didn't fall victim to ignorance when it came to this product. It was made illegal by our legislature, and it was to be enforced. And I remember seeing the coverage, and it was very clear, no one complete ignorance on it. Then when you look at the detail, whether it's the cash or the cars, look at some of the other things, have all of the traits and fingerprints of the drug trade, whether it's synthetic marijuana or cocaine or anything else. It had all of the trappings, all of the fingerprints that any other drug trade would have.
Considering the amount of stuff here, it seems like, is St. Tammany a big center for usage? I mean, do you have have you heard of a big problem of people using this, getting sick, dying, that sort of thing?
No, obviously St. Tammany has had its issues, and I think that when you look at all of the law enforcement family community, we handle these things very aggressively. I think Chief Richard pointed to. You looked at when we have these cases that our courts prosecute these, our DA prosecutes the individuals. So I think we're aggressive in nature when it comes to these types of activities before they parlay into something more. Chief, y'all want to comment on about that? I know we've all had those questions in the community.
The biggest complaints we had were from teachers, from parents that are concerned, that were under the impression that this product may be legal. It was being sold for pure profit. We issued warning letters with a copy of the state law that our lawmakers approved and the governor signed off on. It's a serious problem and something had to be done, and that's where we stepped up to the plate, took the initiative to get this product off the street. They were warned, they knew it was illegal, but because of the profits that they were able to produce with the sale of this product, they got greedy and continued to sell it for just pure profit. And we had a lot of cooperation with the community and other business owners that immediately, one, took it off the shelf when we notified them that it was even possibly illegal. Excuse me. And the parents that did come forward to say that, hey, we need to put a stop to this. This is a danger to our children.
Was the lab like in the back of one of the stores, or was that somebody's house, or where were they mixing this up and packaging it, if you can tell us?
When the lab that we seized, that we got a search warrant and seized, was an apartment. We recovered over two 55-gallon drums full of the synthetic marijuana that was tested and we found later that it had been sprayed with the molecules that were proved to be illegal.
Speaking from Mandeville, we see a lot of this in our high school. Certainly, as Chief Smith said, it's a great concern of the parents. This is I guess for lack of a better phrase, a drug of convenience. It's easy for these kids to get if you know where to go, as described earlier. And I think more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, as a parent and as a chief of police, we don't know what the long-term effects of this stuff is as you use this stuff and down the road, how that's going to affect somebody. So it's a great concern to us. It's a drug of choice, if you will, for our high school youth mostly, obviously in college, the sheriff alluded to LSU. So yes, it's a concern, and it seems to be growing.
Not too long ago, our district attorney took the lead on bath salts, whereas we've seen young people being hurt, in some cases dying over the consumption of bath salts. This is a situation where we have a Talashik lab producing this drug, putting it for retail, and whether it's out of ignorance or whether it's deliberate, someone ingesting something that is made in a crime lab in someone's in a drug lab in someone's backyard or barn has the potential to be lethal, whether it's long-term health crisis or instant death. In any case, I think though the packages are nice and shiny and colorful, the fact of the matter is whether one believes in the long-term effect of synthetic marijuana or the fact that these individuals were criminals trying to make a profit off of someone. That's all this was, plain and simple. Whether it's its shipment from China to its deliberate manufacture in Talashik to the markets of St. Tammany, these store owners were selling it out from under secret compartments in the counters, in the back doors, and sometimes on the streets. So it is well within our purview, and I think that whether it's the concerns of a parent or the individual who lives in this parish that don't want to see us go down this road where from synthetic marijuana to God knows where to committing crimes, it's our job as a law enforcement community to not let that happen.